Hey everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row, back to the virtual film lab. I'm Austin Ward, joined for the first time by former Ohio State NFL wide receiver Dane Sanzenbacher to really dive into some film. And we don't have a lot to work with, Dane, but for your first time, let's dive into some of these freshmen, and we'll start with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. This guy, he's broke all kinds of records in Texas. He's a 4-star, got all this hype, but you know as well as anybody that once you step into the Woody, that recruiting hype ends.
It does. I think they know that coming in too. I mean, especially nowadays with all the information that's out there on every player that even came before you, you walk in and there's, everybody in that room is a 4-star recruit. So it's one of those things where same way when the college guys are going back to the NFL, it's back to the bottom, back to reproving yourself. It's an interesting time though. And it's fun for coaches to get a new group in there because as a receiver room, then your whole dynamic changes. Even though you got some of the same guys, but as soon as you got a new group of guys, that's a new hole right there. So yeah, it's an exciting time for everybody, I'm sure.
I think that there was so much talk, 2 months ago, and even when we had you on in Letterman Live a few weeks ago, just these 3 practices, and they were starting to get rolling, and Ohio State had early enrollees like Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and he had a great early practice, and then all that stopped. If you were just going through this, how important are these spring practices, and is it just enough that he got a taste of it before going home?
They're more important, I think, for the coaches to kind of get a feel for what they have, and they can kind of plan ahead.
Yeah.
Spring enrollees wasn't all that popular until maybe recently. I don't know anybody in my class that did it. We all just came in the summer, did the workouts, and then roll with it. Really, preseason camp is what's going to be the big thing. So I don't think it's a wash yet. I think, all things equal, if they can get some kind of camp in with all this madness, everybody will be okay. Because a plan in the spring, you're going to deal with injuries. You don't know what's going to happen late in the summer. There's always going to be an opportunity for some of these young guys to step up later.
Yeah, that opportunity looks like it'll be coming pretty quickly maybe for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Dane's going to break down for us right now why that might be with the Buckeyes. Let's roll the tape. All right, Dane, when we do a lot of these players, sometimes the level of competition, we have no idea. You're playing high school football, big-time high school football in Texas. You can draw some from that. I know that's not what you played in high school, but you've probably heard the stories, and these guys generally come in ready to play.
I got to assume. Yeah. I mean, I know Ohio is very strong for high school football. I know there's a couple other big states, but you got to assume if you're doing it in Texas, it carries a little bit of weight. And it looks like he's doing it in Texas.
Yeah, it looks like you got three guys trying to go up and get the ball with him there, and he's making a play. It's like, I don't know, all these are going 60, 70 yards. I guess that's why he set so many records.
I guess so. Yeah, it's you saw those first 3 highlights we really looked at. And like you said, it's tough to kind of judge skill for skill when you don't know the competition in this.
Right.
But it's tough tracking a ball like that that's falling back over your back shoulder. We saw the first 2 highlights with hands in his face. I would assume that's what people like, Hartline and the coaching staff over there are looking at more so than the defensive guys. They're looking at how is he tracking the ball? How comfortable is he with the ball in the air? Doesn't look like he's having any problem. Yeah. From what I could see from this tape that's 2 miles away from the field.
Yeah, sky out there. Some of this stuff, I guess what we're looking at in the last couple, better than me, he's not running the most challenging routes. I think you're talking about Coach Hartline working with him. He's going to have an education and doing some other things. Like this right here, that seems like a pretty basic – he's just relying on his athleticism.
Yeah, and a lot of that is how it works, especially at the high school level. If you've got a guy that is as talented as a lot of these guys are, put him in the backfield, let him run around. This is all just, athleticism. Do you know anything about if he's planning to play inside or out, or is he going to be a kind of do whatever they need type of guy?
Yeah, he's got the ability to go. We only got the 3 practices, and we saw him on that first day. He was working some outside. I think that there's an opportunity for him where he's sort of what's happening with Garrett Wilson is that they like this H-back slot, and I think he might have the ability to do multiple things.
I think that's really good for any of, and especially young guys coming in to be able to do it all. It gives them such more of an opportunity to get on the field. You narrow yourself to just being outside, but it doesn't look like he's too uncomfortable being around people. I mean, rarely do you see a guy that strictly plays outside that they also run Wildcat. So I wouldn't be shocked if he plays a little bit in a crowd inside here. I
know it's tough to tell for this, but as a guy comes in as an early enrollee, a true freshman, nice, a concrete pillar in our way here.
Perfect.
What'll be the first thing you think needs to be the education of a receiver like this, who he's played big time football, he's made a ton of plays, but he's about to get a next level education?
Yeah, there's a certain amount of patience that these young guys have to have coming in, because it's kind of a mess when you first get there. Everything seems like there's 1,000 people on the team, and a lot of times, especially for these guys, they'll be coming in. I don't even know if they're going to get their summer workouts, right. But that's usually a big time to be able to kind of integrate with the team without the coach's eyeballs on you, which adds a whole nother layer of complexity to it. But say these guys get to come in and they're going right into camp. It just takes reps to get comfortable at that level. And honestly, for some guys, it comes easier than others. Mm-hmm. Some guys just have that confidence that they carry in from high school, and some guys have to make plays in college to prove it to themselves that they can be there. It's tough to tell that just watching somebody's film. But those will be all things to look at when you're even looking at camp or preseason, or even if you get some scrimmages in, something before the season goes.
Well, that feels like a good place. If somebody's making a one-handed catch like this coming up here, that feels like a good place to end. You said it early on, Dane. This kid can clearly track the ball.
Yeah, that's one of those that you can't wait to get on your highlight tape too.
That helps.
Even though, it's like it's on air, but yeah, if you can do that, there's your skill level. That's you by yourself. Can you track the ball? It doesn't really matter who you're playing against. That's the type of stuff that gets you looked at by big time programs like Ohio State. So it's like, okay, you cleared that one bar. Yep. You've made it past, but that's all it is. It's just like an entry point, but the Heartline or any other team, no, they're not going to go back and watch his high school highlight tape. So there's like this play, there's your ticket in, and then you got to go make it happen again at the next level. So it'll be exciting to watch. All
right, it's still fun for us to watch it, even if Brian Heartline isn't rocking this out right now in the quarantine.
It is.
Great stuff from Dane Sanzenbacher joining us for his first go-round with BuckIQ at Lettermen Row. Hopefully a lot more to come with Dane. Thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time at Lettermen Row.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Lettermen Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got BuckIQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.